Welcome to Big Monday, presented by Bud Light. Tonight, it's Southwestern Athletic Conference basketball as the Jackson State Tigers take on the Prairie View A&M Panthers. As we take a look at the standings in the SWAC right now, everybody chasing Southern at 5-0 in conference play. There's Prairie View at 1-3, and Jackson State still looking for its first win in league play. Hello, everybody. Anthony Calhoun along with former DePaul basketball star Stephen Howard. So glad to have you here with us tonight for SWAC basketball. And Stephen, even though the Tigers have yet to win a game in conference play, you know you can just throw out the records tonight. It should be a good one, right?
Absolutely, Anthony. We got two teams here that were predicted to finish in the top of the SWAC, and they find themselves at the bottom of the league. They have the talent. They've been hit by the injury bug. They're trying to find some confidence. They're trying to get it back. Let's see if tonight they're able to get that flow and get that winning season.
All right, time to go one-on-one. And what's our focus tonight?
Well, Kelsey Howard, this young man is the second leading scorer in the SWAC, and he's got NBA range. He scored 1/4 of the Tigers' points this season, and they're going to need all of that to get their first SWAC win. And Carl Blair has dished out 46% of the Panthers' total assists this year. He makes the game easier for his teammates. But don't sleep, because he can score also with 18 points last game for the win versus Grambling State.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's game. Jackson State, Howard, Williams, Lewis, Coleman, and Jones. And Munich, Blair, Scott, Ellaby, and Chapman for Prairie View. So we are set to go here. SWAC basketball here at the Baby Dome, they like to call it here in Prairie View, Texas. And Prairie View controlling the tip in the home white, Jackson State in the visiting blue. Stephen, what should we keep our eye on early on here in this game?
You're going to see Prairie View try to get the ball inside. They're punching it in a lot more this year. They want to establish that inside presence in the paint.
Jackson State, what's your game plan?
Jackson State just needs a win. When you're 0-5, you're hungry for a win, you haven't got anything going in the SWAC, you're going to see a determined and deliberate Jackson State team tonight.
Working inside. Prairie View coming in tonight's game after a win against Grambling State on Saturday, 60-44. Both teams early on trying to find their mark. Jackson State turns it over. Head coach for the Tigers, the veteran himself, Sylvester Anderson, in his 10th season as the man in charge of the Tigers. Had a chance to talk to Coach today. Always a great time talking to Coach Anderson, and he told me one thing he's really focused with his team this year, even though the fact they've yet to win a game in conference play, is just staying calm. You know, taking it one game at a time because it's such a long season ahead of this team. As far as Prairie View, Byron Rim in his 7th season at Prairie View, his team was picked to win the SWAC this season.
And this is without a doubt the best team that Coach Byron Rim has ever had. You talk to any of the coaches in the SWAC, and they believe he's got the talent. They just have yet to put it all together in the game.
This is Carl Blair, with 14 for Prairie View, averaging 11 points a game. Montreal Scott, sophomore from Dallas, Texas.
And I really think Carl Blair is going to have to put his imprint on this game for Prairie View A&M. He's, as I mentioned earlier, one of the strongest guards in the SWAC, and he had 18 free throws against Texas A&M, and he's going to need to have that type of production, a lot of paint touches dictating his will for Prairie View to get back this momentum.
Got a problem with the shot clock. It's John Heatley, one of our officials, working tonight's game. And coming up, our halftime report, Louisville against Connecticut, as the Cardinals get the win tonight at UConn, as they get set to take on Syracuse on Saturday, in Louisville. Plus highlights and statistics for you coming up on the halftime report. Louisville, the new #1 team The AP poll this week. Gotta love the way the Cardinals are playing right now.
Yeah, Peyton Siva, Gorgie Dang, but that's not the ranking you want this early. You want that at the end of the season. I really think Rick Pitino would probably rather be second, third, or fourth right now, not number one.
How about that move there by Nelson?
Nelson has all the confidence in the world right now, and it came again from 3 minutes ago on the defensive end.
He's got 14 points here in this first half. His team has a 3-point lead. Nice alley-oop and the dunk by Ellaby. He's got 8 points. And a turnover here by Jackson State.
And right there you see the ramifications of that lob, that dunk play. It kind of rattled Jackson State to a certain extent. And Prairie needs to keep going into that paint, use that advantage they have. Those paint touches.
They do it again. This Chapman throws it down. Timeout, Jackson State.
Anthony, you heard me when Carl Blair get into the game talk about how he needs to put his imprint in this game. And Carl Blair has done exactly that. You see him attacking the paint, getting those paint touches, and lobbing it up perfectly for Josh Ellaby. And the next one, the same exact play almost, deja vu all over again. And that's Carl Blair, the veteran leader, the savvy leader, putting his imprint on the game for Prairie View.
Quick timeout here by Coach Anderson and his Tigers. Down by 1, 28-27, 116. Love to play here in this first half.
See, right now you just have both coaches trying to wrestle that momentum away, trying to carry something into halftime, and both coaches are diagramming something on the defensive end and the offensive end to get that momentum.
ESPN College Basketball is available live anytime, anywhere on your computer, tablet, or smartphone at watchespn.com and with the Watch ESPN app.
I know I watch that on my iPad. What about you, Anthony? I know you're technology savvy.
Here's Nelson. Nelson, great pass and a dunk the other way by Taylor. I believe we got a technical foul called here on Taylor.
Getting a little heated here in the Baby Dome. Everybody thinks that Lob City is in Los Angeles with the clip joint, but it's really in the Baby Dome. Both sides going at it with the orchestrated lobs out of timeout. And I don't know if I've ever seen them orchestrated any better.
Coach Anderson not happy at all about the call, though.
Well, here we have one more look. Nelson again feeding his teammate Darrell Taylor for the nice lob, and then a couple words. You can't taunt after the lob. Let your Duncan do the talking for you.
So Blair at the line. Technical foul called on Taylor. There was also a foul called on Prairie View. So Taylor's going to go to the line. The basket was good. So he's at the line to complete a three-point play.
On both sides of the court, I think players are going to need to step up on the defensive end, because there's no way in the world that you should be able to get 6 consecutive lobs on either team. And so you're going to need to have a concerted effort defensively to talk on defense, to bump cutters, and to prevent those dunks.
And Taylor completes the three-point play. Jackson State back up by 1. Under a minute left to play. Here in this first half, alley-oop again to Ellaby.
Anthony, did I just not say that someone's going to need to play some defense, unless they're going for the Guinness Book of World Records of consecutive lob dunks?
Tough basket there by Nelson.
And you're really seeing the way Nelson can just score points.
He's got 16.
Nelson could score in a phone booth by himself with no basketball, and he's showing all of that tonight in the Baby Dome.
Difference of 5 seconds. And the shot clock and the game clock.
Prairie's going to want to get the last shot.
They try to find Ellaby, and a timeout here by Jackson State. If you're Coach Anderson, you come into this game 0-5 in conference play, and your team has a chance here of 32-31 to take the lead going into halftime.
Looking back at that last lob, and Blair's throwing it from all ends of the court. And I don't know about people in the Los Angeles, but they got CP3, but in the PV, they got Carl Blair, and he just got a feel for that lob. As I mentioned earlier, putting his imprint on this basketball game.
Look at Coach Anderson. Been in the SWAC for so many years. I like to call him the face of the SWAC, if you will, just as far as his veteran leadership. Has won 4 SWAC regular season titles. Led him to the NCAA tournament back in 2007. Now his basketball team. 17 seconds remaining in this first half.
And you talk about Sylvester Anderson, he's seen it all. I mean, he's coached Charles Barkley, Chris Morris.
Here's Lewis.
And you got to think they're going to want to get it to Nelson and let him attack the paint.
Just like you said, Nelson here with 6 seconds. It's in trouble. Nelson throws up the 3! And then it's no good. They call traveling here on Nelson. So 4 seconds still to play in this first half. Nelson thought for sure he had that 3 going his way.
Yeah, I mean, he was dancing with it, little pitter-patter. He lost control of it. Good defense there by Prairie, and he picked it up, and officials, Johnny on the spot, called the double dribble. But now you're going to see Coach Rim try to wrestle that momentum and design a play. And for sure, it's going to be in Carl Blair's hands, either to facilitate or take this last shot.
What a great first half of SWAC basketball here on ESPNU. We talked about Blair. There's Blair up against Stewart for Jackson State.
And they got Stewart on him, little water bug, and they want to harass Blair, not let him get into the paint.
They're going the other way. Offensive foul called here on Jenkins.
And see, looking back at this play, Jenkins was moving, and you got to be still. You see him moving into Stewart, and you can't rest right there just protecting the player. You can't jump unabated to the defensive player like that.
Second foul on Jenkins. So 1.